Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So it's bright and early, Sunday morning, mind, body, and soul, daily discipline. This is how we get through. I like to do a little warriors group every Sunday. I'll take 6 quotes or points that I draw from my morning studies, and we just go over them. It's a little bit of an extra, a bit of work to think about for some of you out there who are really struggling, really trying hard to make something of yourselves. You know, some people, they need a day off. They need to take time off. They can't move forward all the time, but some of us are a little bit more hardcore than that. We go hard 7 days a week, no matter what. So let's just get into it. First one I have written down is, never be proud of your insufficiencies. Never be proud of your insufficiencies. Now that seems obvious. Why would I be proud of my faults, of my weaknesses? I tell you though, I mean, I do life coaching, and anybody interested in getting their lives together, I can help you become stronger. We can put you on a plan. But I've witnessed this my whole life. I used to be this way, where I would protect my weaknesses more than I would be willing to go after my strengths. I would spend more time trying to stand up for the things that made me weak, trying to justify why I was an addict, why I was depressed, why I was unsuccessful. Trying to justify all my weaknesses. And if you say, Sky, why are you this way? And I get all self-righteous and indignant and be like, well, and I'd play the victim, tell you all about being homeless, tell you all about this and that, and it's society, I have dyslexia, none of this is my fault. And the ultimate victim, when you try to tell them, hey brother, you could be more. You have potential in you. You could be more than you are. They get really defensive, as if they're everything they can be. In their weakened state, in their state of being a loser, hardly able to survive, in their state of victimhood, they make this declaration. But they only do this to other people, in front of others. You know when that motherfucker goes home, when he's driving home, when he's in his house, when he's in the shower by himself, wherever, when he's in their bathroom shitting, when he's alone, when nobody's fucking with him, and he's just sitting there thinking about himself and about life and about the day and about stuff in general. That motherfucker, that proud motherfucker, he knows he's weak. He knows he can't handle life. Don't be proud of your insufficiencies. Acknowledge that you have weaknesses and be willing, be open to move on from them. Be humble about them. Laugh about them. Don't be defensive over it. I've had problems with this, we all have. Let's move on to the next one. This one's a little bit nuanced, so we may have to hash it out. Plant, grow, harvest, feed. There's like a natural course of life, of our personal development. It corresponds with just the cycle. The life cycle can correspond with our personal development. So there's a time to plant. There's a time to plant. Right now may be a good time to plant. Springtime is a good time to plant. The ground softens up. The conditions are proper. When the conditions are right, it's time to plant. Plant the seeds. Plant those seeds that are going to grow. The seeds are the very beginnings, just the ideas of goals, the ideas that you have of, maybe I could be a better version of myself. Maybe I could be more successful. Maybe I could change where I live, who I am, how I look, all for the better. Those are all planting seeds. There's a season of planting. You may feel more introspective in some seasons and more active in others, and you want to get used to your rhythm. and go with that shit. Don't go against it. So there's a time to plant. There's a time to grow. Growing is when that seed has already been planted and it's being fertilized and watered and kept in a cool, dark, safe place so it can build, fester. When you grow, that's when you're learning. That's when you're training. When you're self-isolated, you may be lonely. Realize, no, you're growing. Don't waste an opportunity of growth on sorrow, on depression. I can add a little religion into it. When you're in your growth stage, the devil will very often try to distract you with pleasure, distract you with bullshit, because he doesn't want you to grow. That growth is your power, that you become strong. The oak tree starts off as an acorn and grows into a big fucking tree. There's a time to harvest. The time to harvest usually comes around October. September, October. Harvest time, harvest season. You have to harvest or else the fruit starts to rot. You have to know when to harvest. You have to harvest at the proper time. You don't want to harvest too soon. The food's not ripe. It's not as good or big as it could be, as tasty as it could be. You want to know when to harvest. And that comes with experience. And your first harvest season is usually full of mistakes. But the next one you realize, okay, I'll wait another couple weeks. I have a really funny story about when I grew pot illegally out in the woods. It was really funny. I should tell that story. I don't have time for it now. But it has to do with the harvest. That's why it's a funny story. And then there's a time to feed after we've harvested. It's not the end. You have your harvest, you have your abundance, but what do you do with it? What do you do with the harvest and all that stuff, those piles of potatoes and apples and corn? What do you do with all the harvest? You don't let it go to waste, that's for sure. It's sad to see harvested foods go to waste. Sad to see them rot. All those rotten bananas could have been eaten. And that's when we feed others, we feed ourselves. We nourish, we provide, we give. Let's go on to the next one. I could spend a lot of time on that analogy. Answer your calling. That's pretty simple, huh? Answer your calling. I felt like that I had a calling for many years that I didn't answer. I didn't really know how to. The first stage was I didn't really realize that I was being called. You ever just get lost in doing your shit and your cell phone's not really next to you? Nowadays our cell phones are always next to you. Mine is usually, not always, but usually right next to me. There's a few times when I'm at the gym, oftentimes when I'm driving or when I'm eating. There's times when I don't put the phone next to me. I don't want to answer it. And your phone could just be sitting there across the room, just blowing up, just blinking and blinking and blinking and blowing up. And you don't even really notice it. It could be an important call. You could be sitting there wondering about something, stressing on it. And that's that call, just sitting there blowing up. You got to answer the call. Answer your calling in life. A lot of people don't really know what their calling is. At least that's the mantra they tell themselves. And that's usually a mantra that is filtered through your parents, through authority, through your school teachers, through your grandparents, through your ancestry, through your own fear of failure. You may know what you want to do. You may have said it when you were a kid, I want to be a cowboy, and everybody laughed at you, and then your whole life goes by and you end up some fool working in a cubicle in a high-rise building somewhere, and the whole time, your whole life, all you ever wanted to do was be a cowboy. Go be a fucking cowboy, goddammit! Answer your calling. Let's go on to the next one. Every day, we have a chance to become stronger. I don't think I need to spend a lot of time on this one. Every single day, we have a chance to become stronger. What are you doing today? Is a day off? Is a wasted day? I'm just not feeling it today. Every day, you have a chance to become stronger. And it might be every day that you complain about being weak. For every day that you live in weakness, remember that you have a chance to become stronger. Let's go on to the next one. Hope I can get through these all. I have a few more. Have an attitude of gratitude. Now, you've heard that before. Attitude of gratitude. I live by this rule, by this phrase, attitude of gratitude. Being grateful is the most powerful state of mind that you can be in. Being grateful is as close to God as you can get. Being grateful is a state of prayer. When you guys sit and you pray, and a lot of people, even non-religious people, sit and pray, because when shit hits the fan, when stuff is going bad, when they have cancer, when there's bullets zinging by them and they're fucking paralyzed in fear, you motherfuckers, you atheists and you agnostics, you start praying. I know you do, because I've seen it. And you start begging, bargaining for gifts. Please help me, please help me. You got it wrong. And then these types of people, these are the ones that shake their fist up at the sky, not at me, up at the clouds, and they say, God is dead. There is no God because nobody's ever answered my prayers. Motherfucker, you're begging for a lottery. And God doesn't play that shit. He doesn't play the lottery. You got to be grateful. Start being grateful. Instead of start begging for shit, start thanking God for shit. Start being thankful for shit. Thank everyone around you. Thank you for being a jerk today. Thank you for being nice today. Thank you for cutting me off. Thank that red light for slowing me down. I thank that electric bill for being a little bit too much. So now it's an opportunity for me to learn how to live a little bit more simply. And that brings me to the next one. You got to recognize the difference between obstacles and opportunities. Most people think that they know that shit, like it's obvious, but it's not always obvious. A lot of times I've found in my life what I've identified as an obstacle was really an opportunity. You can look at things in many different ways. I was homeless. It's a major obstacle in life. Sucks. Wasn't fun. I got through it, and when I look back on that experience, I realized it was an amazing opportunity. It felt like a curse. It felt like torture, like I was being punished. But it was an opportunity to learn how to live simply. It was an opportunity to see what the very bottom. I had thought I was at the bottom, but you're not at the bottom. You live in the ghetto and you think the cops are on your ass and the man, you have these complaints, you can't get a good job. Fuck all that. Try being homeless. You get to a whole new level. That's third world America, motherfucker. We have a third world country right here, and a lot of you don't pay attention to it, and I lived it, and it was an amazing experience. And I'm just talking about this one thing. I could go with 100 different other examples. It was an obstacle in my life, but I turned that obstacle into an opportunity. I learned a lot. Let's go to the next one. It's the last one. Once you open up to something, you never know how far it's going to go. Once you open up to something, you never know how far it's going to go. When you open up to love, to that right person, you'd be surprised how far that love can go. You turn around and realize, I didn't really even like you when I first met you. And now I'm so incredibly hopelessly in love and dedicated to you. You're so incredibly valuable in my life. And it's just funny because I just thought you were weird and awkward and quirky when I met you. You ever have something like that? Start a business. I've started businesses, many. And some of them have just been on a whim. impulsively. Well, I'll take a little bit of money, put it in this direction. I've always kind of wanted to do this. You never know where it's going to go. That business could lead you to friendships, relationships. I found it interesting with my motorcycle shop. Every single person that I've ever built a bike for or sold a used bike to, flipped a bike with, has become a personal friend. You never know how far something's going to go. I could spend a lot of time on this last one. This video is getting a little bit long, so I'm going to end it here. Have a great Sunday, guys.